welcome back to the Rick and Dafs podcast. I'm Dafs.
And I'm Rick.
And as always, we are here unscripted and raw.
And before we get started, Dafs, a little bit of house business today.
Oh, yeah?
First off, we're back. It's March now.
It is March.
I think we're going to be, for the people out there, we're going to be a once-a-month podcast this year.
It's quite possible.
It's quite possible. I mean, unless things get crazy, which is possible.
If we come up with some really great ideas, or we record multiple sessions in the same night, then maybe.
I think it also has to do with just, I have progeny on the way.
You do.
That, and you're getting more active in the disco scene.
I am so active in the disco
He's
scene.
going to disco dungeons almost 3 times a week.
I've gone through so many goldfish, those platinum shoes, the platform shoes. They're just murdering.
Platinum platform shoes, really.
Platinum platform shoes with goldfish in them.
So today, Dafs, what are we talking about?
We are talking about lightsabers, the pros and cons of lightsabers in today's society.
So in other words, everything is the same.
Everything's the same, but lightsabers exist.
But lightsabers exist. I don't think the human race is ready for such drastically evolved technology.
No, it's insane. And there's going to be good and bad about it for sure. And no matter what we do to try to limit the amount of destruction, someone's going to find a way of getting around it.
That's true. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to also talk about which I'm not trying to figure out how to phrase this. Which would be the best animal to ride if all animals were the right size to ride? Like if chosen animal was the best size to ride.
Yeah.
I think there are some obvious contenders to start.
Oh, for sure.
But Dafs, you've come up with some really interesting ones just off the top of your head.
I'm convinced that we're not even going to get to that episode. This is going to be such a massive lightsaber one that's going to be our second episode.
We're going to have to go back and just
no, we'll just let them know that, hey, the next one's going to be animals.
Whoa.
I think we got enough for an episode just for animals.
Whoa.
We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
But first, the thought of the week. Strip poker on the Enterprise. Who you got?
They only have one Z.
But contractually, he had a banner.
Wesley Crusher would make a terrible Dread Pirate Roberts.
I feel like you're doubting my ability to seduce an ape princess.
I'm not doubting. I'm a little doubting. It's the Rick and Dafs Thought of the Week.
Dafs, it's International Women's Day.
It is.
Which is odd, because whenever I reach for a woman, it's usually domestic. Because Molly is from here.
I'm not proud of how long it took me to get that joke.
So, in celebration, in the celebratory way of International Women's Day, Dafs, who is your favorite female fictional character?
Ooh. I keep going through and being like, no, she's real. No, she's real too.
Maggie Smith is real.
And you said Maggie Smith. I was like, dang it. You go first.
I'm going to go with Xena Warrior Princess.
Ooh, Lucy Lawless.
Yeah, but not Lucy Lawless, Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah.
Because one, her show was actually pretty ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Very ahead of its
That's
time.
pretty cool. Also, she's total badass. And I like that chakram thing that she throws. And my dad would make us watch it with my sister so that she could have a strong female role model when we were younger.
That's such a solid dig at your mom.
No, you just mostly, my mom is wonderful, but she's not the exactly head chopping type.
No, she's not.
No, she's more like the fairy who escaped from some sort of fairyland.
Yes, she literally is magical.
An example of my mother, getting aside, well, it is International Women's Day, so this is a perfect time to bring it up. She's the kind of person who, at our graduation, just showed up and people were like, oh, that's nice. You have hair glitter. She's like, I brought enough hair glitter for everyone.
I remember that.
And then all of a sudden, because we're graduating from nursing school.
Yeah.
The 40 other women that are there all have glitter in their hair because my mom has somehow made 40 new friends and has handed out hair glitter to everyone.
That is one of my favorite stories about your mom. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Xena Princess. That's a good answer.
Xena Warrior Princess.
I think mine would have to be Avasarala from the Expanse books. Also the Expanse TV show.
And she's the older lady, right?
She's the older lady.
But she's the one that engages in torture.
I mean, yes, she did that like one time.
I'll be honest. I haven't watched as much of the show as you have, but I hate her character.
Really?
She's so evil.
She's super evil, but she's a necessary evil. And she's a very, very strong female character. She takes no crap from anyone, and she's not afraid to get her hands dirty personally, which I think is something that most of the men in the power in the show are afraid to do. And so she's like everything that they're not, which is great.
Another runner-up for me, and I apologize because I can't remember the name, but the Glenn Close character in Damages
Oh yeah,
is like this ruthless Machiavellian.
she's horrifying.
That show, by the way, is great. Damages.
It is.
Great guest stars, or like, I guess they're guest stars for the season, but like John Goodman and Ted Danson and other great people were in the Roseburn. It's a really good show. It's kind of hard to watch at times because it's pretty dark, but very good. And that's the thought of the week. Any other thoughts that you'd like to add?
No.
I think, by the way, since our last thought of the week, I enjoyed so much Dafs interpreting my dreams. I've started keeping a dream log.
Nice.
And we're going to have an episode this year for sure where you interpret all my dreams.
I am all about that. Oh, actually, I do have one last thought. KEXP 90.3 radio station. They have a website, and on there you can listen to their broadcast. Today, for International Women's Day, they only played female and femme and non-binary artists, and it was amazing. It was just nonstop girl rock, and they really did a great job. So if you want to listen to like hours and hours of girl rock,
Some Joan Jett.
they're not even Joan Jett, mostly local stuff.
Oh, local stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
really, really good.
Really local.
Yeah, I wrote down like 4 or 5
Dorothy?
names. No, Dorothy. I actually saw Dorothy in
I've
concert.
seen Dorothy too. Very good.
She is very good. She is.
No Joan Jett, no Dorothy. Local, you say.
Local.
Okay.
So Shakaya and her song 3718. Also, You'll Find a Way by Santa Gold.
Santa Gold?
Yeah.
Like 2 words, Santa and gold?
No, Santa Gold, but with an I instead of an A.
Oh.
And all one
I'm
word.
kind of disappointed because that name just had really sparked my interest. I was like, there's a backstory there, and I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
But speaking of backstories, what kind of backstory would it take for a lightsaber to exist in our time?
All right, so we're switching over to the main topic.
Yeah.
It would have to be something that someone discovered and it was already so obviously in place because
I think the obvious fear would be that your lightsaber would just go on into infinity, right?
that it would just continue. There's actually a really great College Humor, I think, or BuzzFeed video where they have this lightsaber and it starts off at like 2 inches and they're like, oh, I mean, it's cool, but I don't know. And then after like, I don't know, 20 minutes, they're like, okay, yeah, no, it's like 4 feet long. And then they realize it's just not stopping. And eventually,
turn it off.
Eventually, they just like put it into the ground because it's cutting down planes from like 30,000 feet.
Should we, in ours, it's just the standard lightsaber?
Yeah,
it's not going to cut through the world.
Standard. Yeah.
So obviously, I feel like it probably wouldn't be available to the majority of people.
No, it would have to be.
Would it
something
be
that's only military
For
or
our
medical?
rules, could it just be available to anybody, or no?
Well, see, the problem is anytime you have technology, it's going to be disseminated. So it doesn't matter whether you say, oh, we're only going to make this gun for the military. Eventually, someone's going to get their hands on it.
So you're saying like drug cartels will have lightsabers?
Yeah, and eventually they'll use it, smaller versions for medical practice and things like that, and it's going to fall into the wrong hands. The only reason why tanks don't fall into the wrong hands is because they're so big and difficult to make yourself.
And even then, sometimes they still do because people steal tanks.
Yeah.
Every couple of years, there's always some guy who goes on a rampage in a tank or a bulldozer or something. Yeah.
I want to believe that he was just a normal guy and then just had the opportunity and was like, come on.
Yeah, I'm going to prison, but I mean, I'm driving a tank, so
It's going to be a while.
you got to think that somewhere along the lines, the guy's like, I can't stop it, sir. It's like a tank out there. The guy was like, just shut up, Johnson. Go back to the barracks. Okay, so you mentioned on the good side, clearly there would be scalpels.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
laser scalpels, we already kind of do like cauterization and things like that with lasers. You could seal wounds up really fast,
I mean, they already can.
but even faster.
Yeah, some of the surgeries I've watched, I had no idea that the clamps that they put on there, that those are conductive as well.
Yeah.
So they'll just put the cauterizer against the clamp they're holding, and the rubber glove means it doesn't burn them, but it'll burn whatever they're touching.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I've actually seen it, like those things kind of used, and it's kind of amazing. It just touches it, and it's like all the skin just goes, or not skin, but the tissue,
blood vessel and whatnot.
The tissue just fries, and that whole thing's closed.
Yeah.
You could do really fast surgeries, though.
I mean, you could do LASIK
Going back to
so
our
quick.
to our racing, like if a business sports episode.
Yes.
the surgeon who got his hands on a lightsaber surgical tool, he would have the big edge.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's being sponsored by LucasArts Surgical Utilities.
It cuts and cauterizes in one motion.
He is on the He's leading in total points this season with 16 successful surgeries and 3 amputations.
Amputation, they wouldn't even put you under. They would just like
cut
give you,
off.
they give you a stick to bite down real fast, and they're like, "This is gonna hurt a whole lot for a moment, and then it'll still
All the
burn."
nerves would be settled or
Yeah.
severed.
Yeah, so like it would still hurt.
Geez, you'd hope though if you had access to a lightsaber that you wouldn't need to resort to amputations though on purpose, just accidentally.
I mean, yeah,
I think we all know what they would be used for the most though: bank robberies.
I don't know why that would be, because they can just like put the vault and cut it.
Yeah, just cut out the door.
I mean, but it's not.
Cracking the safe takes too long. Just cut out the door, open it up.
But as we've seen from the films, it's not like it can just pass through anything. Like, so for instance, in episode 1 or no, episode 2, episode 1.
Where they're my favorite part where they get told to go negotiate a new trade deal and then murder a bunch of people and robots.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
They close that giant security door and he like pushes it straight into the door and it melts the door. It slags it, but it takes a while and he has to push really hard. So it's not like you can just cut a hole real fast. You'd have to like be like a blowtorch. It could take you a while to cut it out.
Yeah, but it's got to be stronger than a blowtorch.
I mean, you imagine.
Plus, this isn't that's like a space station.
Yeah.
Deadbolt, and this is just regular life technology.
Yeah.
With a lightsaber.
I imagine that you would be able to just cut through the concrete on both sides rather than go through the actual metal door. It'd probably be faster.
Probably you just cut out the hinges.
Yeah.
And it just falls over, and then you just walk in.
It's like people who have like expensive security doors but have drywall, and I'm like, what?
But as like a weapon, it's actually not very helpful. I mean, unless you're a Jedi, because then you can block all the lasers.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to have lightning fast reflexes in order for it to be super useful like it is in the films. The one thing I will say, though, is that there's a reason why switchblades are illegal, and that is because of how fast you can pull them out.
That's true. Some guy gets up in your grill, and you just activate it, and he's sliced in two.
Through your pocket.
Yeah.
You just go boop.
Yeah.
And it's better than a gun, because it doesn't make a loud sound other than the guy screaming.
Yeah. He'd just be dead, and then you'd be gone.
Yeah.
For burglars, that would be terrifying. Like, if you were getting mugged, like, I'd be always afraid that Well, I mean, I'd be afraid either way if I was getting mugged, but I'd be extra afraid if lightsabers existed because I'd be afraid that they'd pull. Even a knockoff lightsaber could really do some damage.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine though how fast food prep would be?
A switchblade lightsaber would be pretty good for like cutting food.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those things where instead of having the meat
You never have to
that's
sharpen another knife again.
ever,
But
and
what would you use for your cutting board?
nothing, you would have like one of those like the meat on the spiral things, and you just carve off of it.
I'm just saying, like
for
if I wanted to,
gyros.
like, but what I'm saying is, wouldn't it be also useful if you could use it for like just everything? So
Yeah.
you'd never have to use another knife again. You'd only have the one.
You'd pretty much have to toss all your food into the air and cut it in half because cutting boards would just be you go through them twice a day.
Oh yeah, and twice on Sunday. Yeah, I don't even know. The problem is, well, and the thing is like I'm sure some of you at home are like, they would never let people use a lightsaber in their home. Well, I mean, literally, our homes are filled with knives.
Yeah.
And like all sorts of horrible stuff that can kill you. If Tylenol is in your probably in your medicine cabinet, that if that was invented today, it would definitely not be over the counter.
Yeah, if U.S.
cigarettes,
has
alcohol,
this type of gun control, we're for sure having lightsabers in every single home.
yeah, and it wouldn't be the NRA, it would be the NLA,
Yeah.
National Lightsaber Association.
ATFL.
Yeah.
So here's a question, and I've always kind of wondered this.
You know that Elon Musk would be the one that would be pumping it out to the
Oh,
people.
100%.
Because didn't he like give away blowtorches or something?
He made flamethrowers.
Yeah, flamethrowers.
And they're not even that great at flamethrowers, but they are pretty cool. I'll admit it, they are really cool.
All I'm saying is that some person like him would be like, flamethrowers for all, would also be like, lightsabers for all.
You know, he named his company the Boring Company.
Yeah, because they're gonna bore stuff.
Yeah, it's because they're all about digging tunnels through things. But I was like, that's great. No, but I've always wondered this about lightsabers.
It's not as catchy as what we would name it.
No.
We would definitely name it something very ridiculous and
Yeah.
catchy.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know what it would be, but give me an afternoon. and
Yeah,
I'd have
we'd
it.
come up with a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll think about it during the episode.
How thick is a lightsaber?
Well, that's the other question.
Because I've wondered that for like forever.
Because like the one, you know that they would develop fine tip ones though.
Well, I mean, so that's the thing is like, it seems like in the movies, because in the movies what they use just regular broom handles that they color, and then afterward they just add the effect. So they all look like they're about an inch thick.
Yeah.
But you wonder, like when you cut, if you're going to cut bread, are you losing? Is it just disintegrating an inch of bread?
I don't know.
Or is there a thinner version?
That's what I think that's the combat version. Because they need to be a little bit bigger if they're going to shoot, like, stop lasers and bullets or whatever.
Okay, well, in that case, then screw that. I don't want that. I want
I want a fine tip one.
no, I'm going opposite. I want a wiffle bat. I want like one of those big old wiffle bat lightsabers. Think of how useful that would be.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. You could really dice some tomatoes with that.
You
throw
could.
the tomato up in the air.
You could make a shield out of a lightsaber.
Well, yeah, but I think it would be harder to wield just in general.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
Can you imagine if Captain America had like that kind of shield and could throw it like that, but it had a lightsaber edged all the way around it?
All I'm saying is that honestly, Star Wars does not have enough lightsaber designs.
No.
Because there would be a Jedi that was throwing them like throwing knives.
Yeah.
And he would just be throwing them through people and then recalling them.
Well, so that's the thing. Essentially, what you're
Jedis
describing
are just
is
trained assassins.
yeah. What you're describing is essentially a blaster, because a blaster shoots a little like a laser beam at someone. But if you could use the Force, then why wouldn't you just make a bunch of small double-ended lightsabers like Darth Maul's, but mini, and then make a giant storm of them around you that swirls in circles?
I'm guessing that would take a lot of power.
I mean, yeah, but more than lifting
what?
an entire X-wing.
We're getting well, but that's Luke Skywalker. I mean, he's the chosen one.
But he gets his butt kicked by like 4 separate Sith Lords.
All I'm saying is, yeah, that's true. Okay, but we're getting off track because we're talking about Star Wars. But I will say before we get back on track that I love when I think it's Obi-Wan in the original or not the original, the prequels.
Yeah.
It's like, we're Jedi, we're not soldiers. Which like but you are vigilantes, essentially. It's just like this. It's like the Spanish Inquisition out there, where it's just like random Jedis go out and just like kill a bunch of people, and the government is sanctioning it.
We're not soldiers. We just take kids with talents away from their parents at a super young age and train them up until they can do what we want. We're essentially the Chinese ping pong team.
We're a cult.
Exactly. You're a cult. It's just,
So what you're saying is there would be just like that crazy documentary about that cult that set up in Oregon, except for
Wild,
it would just
Wild
be
Country?
all the lightsaber people would just be out there training and practicing.
who would ever thought it'd be a good idea to have a bunch of young, burgeoning Jedi guys and gals all go through puberty in the same location?
That's a terrible plan.
It's a horrible idea. No
Yeah.
wonder Luke tried to kill one of them in the last film. I would too. I've been here 5 minutes. I already think half of you should die.
Yeah, they'd definitely be cutting each other's arms and legs off constantly. I mean, that no wonder their synthetic limb skills are so good. I mean, think about it. Like, Luke already has a synthetic arm, but that must be like an everyday occurrence. No wonder they were able to put Darth Vader back together so fast.
Yeah. I mean, Darth Maul even is back together. It's insane. It's one of those things where it's like, kids are great and they're wonderful at sports, and then they hit a growth spurt. They grow 5 inches, and now they're all gangly and they're
That's
all
true. Like,
falling
you'd be
apart.
like training them, and then they'd hit a growth spurt, and then like their reflex would be off, but they'd have like a laser that they'd be practicing with. The margin for error with a lightsaber is so small.
And they're super distracted by each other
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
And tensions are rising.
And their senses are super high.
It's a
What if
recipe.
their senses grow their other skills?
I don't know.
They're sensing all the pheromones around them. That's a real concern.
I just don't know. So many questions.
I think if lightsabers existed, again, like with most things, it would probably be the downfall of society.
I think it really would, because not only would it be used. I mean, you could make a case for using it in medicine. You could make a case for using it in warfare. But anytime you do one of those things, it's going to get into the major population.
Do you have to recharge it? Is it like a battery operated thing?
I think there's a crystalline power cell in there
Oh yeah, that gives it to.
that does it. Although they never really explain that, because they never have to recharge his. And even
All I'm saying, not all I'm saying. I always say that. I'm just saying that if that had some application, then maybe we could get power off of it, like infinite power sources. Like, it's like I either take my lightsaber out or I plug it into the wall and I power my home.
we give everyone lightsabers, the most deadly ancient weapon in the history of the universe, and people just use it as power banks to charge their iPhones.
Yeah. You'd be coming in, like, so Dafs used to have this old terrible phone before he upgraded.
Yeah.
And he'd like come over and he'd be like, oh, sorry, my phone's been dead for like 7 hours. And I was like, well, that would have been 10 o'clock in the morning. He's like, yeah, I know. And then he like brings out this massive battery pack that's like the size of, I don't even know.
I kid you
And
not.
plugs it in.
It's about the eighth of the size of a car battery. You had 8 of them, you could power your car.
But you and Stacey's phones were both that way. You were constantly having to charge them like
Yeah.
all the time. I'd just be like, what are you guys doing with your phones? You must be just like watching an insane amount of porn on your phone.
Yeah.
Both of you. Just running your phones dead
Non-stop.
24 hours a day.
Yep. No, but now our new phones are great.
Yes. So that's that topic. Now on to another one.
All right, do you think we can start a whole brand new one? Where are we at?
We're at 23 minutes, Daphs.
Okay, we can do it. I thought we were.
It's been 3 hours. Daph's sense of Daph's time just goes away when he enters this room.
It is true.
You just totally lose yourself in the moment.
All right, so our next topic is, which animal would be best to ride if they were the appropriate size to ride?
That's perfect. And we'll get to that after this short commercial break. Hey guys, Rick from the Rick and Dafs podcast here, and on behalf of the county to read you an important message. about packs of wild dogs that have taken over most of the Lower East Side. So stay clear of that. I mean, that sounds like a disaster, Dafs, doesn't it? Yeah. But here's one thing I am kind of confused about. Like, if this is why would they use a podcast to get this emergency message out? I mean, it seems like it's not very timely. There's probably some guy in a bed right now who's like, man, this would have been helpful 3 days ago before I got bitten by that rabid dog. And we're back. I'm really enjoying this season so far. Mm-hmm. It's been very odd, but enjoyable. I feel like we're starting to, we're on season 5, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we're starting to become like seasoned pros, but like in a way that we're just becoming stranger and more eccentric.
Rick, what's your favorite season?
My favorite season? Mm-hmm. Probably season 2 or 3.
Oh, I was going to say Rosemary.
I was going to say...
Anyways.
You know, time changes things.
It does. Dun-dun-dun.
Now we're on a real pun track, though.
We are.
Dafs, you got to watch out.
Yep. I'll be careful.
All right. So, animals. Mm-hmm. You brought up a squirrel.
I did.
If the squirrel was riding size, it could be pretty helpful. I don't think it would be that fast, though.
It would be that fast.
I don't know about that.
I think it would. So the reason why we ride horses...
Hold on.
Right?
Stipulation.
Yeah.
Is this saying we can tame any animal?
No.
It would just... You'd have to be able to, like...
It is just literally that same animal, but is the appropriate size to ride.
So I probably couldn't tame a lion.
No, God, no. You'd be eaten. They're already rideable size.
No, they're not. They'd have to be bigger.
A lion?
Yeah.
A lion 100% can support your weight.
I mean, they could, but to actually be able to ride it, you'd want it to be higher off the ground. But then it would, of course, maul me. I mean, it would already maul me, but...
No, for sure.
So you're saying I couldn't domesticate it?
No.
Why not?
No. It's only the animals that you can already ride.
This is really disappointing. You think you could train a squirrel?
I have 100%.
Well, I mean, I agree that it's more likely.
No, squirrels are highly trainable. Have you seen the squirrel videos where they teach them how to do acrobatics courses?
Of course I have,
And then they
Dafs.
have ones where they feed them. People have pet squirrels all the time.
Hold on. Now, this is where I'm going to get a little bit irritated with you because you argued, oh no, 4 squirrels couldn't kill me. 8 squirrels, it would take 50 squirrels. And now here you are talking about how great squirrels are, how smart they are.
No. I think squirrels are fantastic. I just don't think 8 of them could kill me.
If they were highly intelligent, they could.
No, not a chance.
Yes.
If they were horse size, one of them could do me in. That's not a problem.
Let's not get back into this argument because it could that like 3 hours from now we'll still be arguing.
Which would you rather fight, Rick? A horse-sized squirrel or 100 squirrel-sized horses?
Definitely, I'd rather fight the squirrel. The singular.
The big one?
Yeah.
That's a terrible idea.
No, it's not. It's a bigger target. 100 horse-sized squirrels. I'd be like in the Lilliputians, like in Gulliver's Travels. They'd like tie me down and then trample me.
But they don't have opposable thumbs.
It doesn't matter.
All they can really do is kick and bite.
It's a numbers game.
You just got to get some big galoshes.
I'm just saying. Don't. I think you're underestimating. You always underestimate the size of a creature.
Okay, but 100 of them is not equal to 100 horsepower all of a sudden.
All I'm saying, well, no. Well, horsepower would be very different if they were the size of the squirrels. Like your car would now be, instead of like my car's 120 horsepower, would be like 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, does sound pretty cool.
They already have ones that are 1,000 horsepower.
Can you wait? I wonder if we could convert like horsepower to squirrel power or goose power or whatever. So then I can go around and be like, oh, check out my car. Like, oh, that's just a regular car. It's not very impressive. Well, okay, but did you know it's like 750 Canadian goose power? I did the math.
You know Hopthor van Beersen, the guy who plays the mountain, strongest man in the world? He is like literally towing a semi with just his bare hands. Mm-hmm.
So how many horsepower is he?
Well, how many Thor power is he?
How many what?
Thor power. Because
Thor
Thor is
power.
the name he goes by.
I want to know how many horsepower it is.
I think my car would only be like 5 Thor power, but like 120 horsepower.
The point that you're making, though, generally is very good in that whatever we would decide is the best to ride would now be the new industry standard for cars.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Or they would replace them. So here are my contenders.
Okay.
You like the squirrel.
I like the squirrel because you can go up and over walls. They're highly trainable. They're incredibly fast. As far as how many lengths of their body can they move in 1 second, they're insanely fast.
I think that would be good. I actually was kind of thinking. I had 3 thoughts that popped into my head when you started talking because I wasn't paying attention. Of course, the Canadian goose.
Yes.
I mean, I could fly around. It would be very large, but I could probably find a way to house it. And then I could breed them. That would be good. I was also thinking for land-based travel, ostrich. I think they're close to rideable now.
They are.
They just have to be a little bigger, but you would have to be concerned about their talons. They're a lot meaner, I think. Maybe I'd go with an emu. Maybe they're a little kinder. I don't know. I'd have to do research.
People do ride ostriches now.
I know, but they have a lot of slashing capabilities.
They do.
I'd be quite afraid. I mean, I guess I could also get pecked to death by
You
my Canadian
totally
goose.
could.
I'd have to be there when the goose was born.
So it imprints on you?
Yes. See, that's the key is you'd have to find an imprintable species. Because I think that then my taming and riding of the goose would go a lot better if I imprinted on it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
What about a rabbit?
Yeah.
Would you rather have a rabbit or a squirrel?
Squirrel.
The bounding capabilities of a rabbit.
Are good,
Yeah, very good.
but they can't climb.
I'm just imagining this crazy like medieval warfare where like some guy riding like a barn owl is swooping down on a guy riding a jackrabbit.
Can you imagine? Like,
Serpentine. Which, by the way, was it Bran? What's the Rickon? Learn to serpentine for the love of God.
I'm being shot at. I'll run in a straight line.
Stupid. Ned would have taught him better than that.
Way better.
I don't. Yeah. Anyways.
But no, I mean, a hummingbird would be so interesting to ride if it were large enough.
I think you'd go deaf
I mean,
from the noise.
yeah, but I mean, fighter jets are loud too. People fly those.
Yeah. People wearing G suits with like helmets and like, like crazy equipment.
Oh yeah. No, you would absolutely need to have a helmet on and like be strapped into
I
this.
think it would be
thing.
a lot less danger. I mean, for the maneuverability, yeah.
It's insane.
It would be insane. But as far as like just convenience, I think that the goose would be better.
I mean, goose. Your gas mileage is way better with the goose. As we've
Goose
seen.
mileage?
Yes. But as far as like getting in and out
And
of the
speed.
city, I mean, like nothing has faster reflexes.
Well, that's true for like city commuting. Like if it was like the goose would be like the commuter car, whereas
It's a 747.
it wouldn't even be that. It'd just be the commuter car. And like the hummingbird would be like the electric
Vespa.
e-car or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? What are those called? Smart car.
Yeah.
That would be the hummingbird because it would just like take you up like around traffic and it would just drop you off. I don't know. I'm trying to think now of like animals you could actually tame because you can't tame any of the wild cats. That's
No.
probably not doable.
Nope.
What about a dog?
Most of the wild dogs are really difficult. You could ride a dog.
I mean, yeah, if you like, let's say you trained up your, I don't know, your golden retriever, but he's the size to ride. That could be pretty cool.
Clifford.
Yeah, Clifford. There you go.
Yeah.
That could be pretty sweet.
They would probably be the best option because of how friendly they are.
They're already quite loyal.
And they're already loyal and whatnot.
We've already
and
domesticated
easily
them.
trainable.
Would you rather have a cat or a squirrel?
Squirrel.
Still squirrel. You're really gung-ho for the squirrel.
I like cats a lot.
You own two.
I do. But I think riding a squirrel would be easier and probably less likely to get bit.
I think your cat would also just be like, no, I'm not doing it. And they
Yeah.
just like lay down.
Yeah.
Do you think some people would just stick to horses?
Probably. They're the purists.
It'd be like, it was good enough for the cowboys in the 1830s, and it's good enough for me.
So certain things like rabbits and like kangaroos.
Ooh, kangaroo! You could ride in its pouch.
But the thing is it's so jostling
Yeah, it's true.
that it would not be a comfortable ride. Whereas like
Not good suspension.
no. Whereas like if you watch like a cheetah, when it's running, it's moving a lot. But you look at its head hardly moves at all. It's like so
Great suspension.
Yeah. So like there's like certain things that you'd have to, take into account. Believe it or not, horses actually do move a lot compared
quite jostly.
to other animals that you can ride.
But they're strong.
They are
That's
strong.
the thing. They're very strong.
And camels, riding camels is awful.
Ugh.
I've ridden a camel, and it's just a kidney shaker the whole time. You're just
Well, and
feel
they're
like you're
not.
getting
They're not
jostled.
even very fast.
They're very fast.
Well, not compared to like what you could potentially do like on a rabbit.
Oh no,
Your
gosh,
speed
no.
compared to a rabbit or like a. I mean, we're trying to get all the best benefits.
But camels have a 40-mile-an-hour top speed.
That is scary.
They are crazy fast.
I did not know that. You're blowing my mind right now.
Yeah. Although when you watch them run, you're like, "There's no way you're holding on to that."
You're just
it's moving a lot.
You're just being dragged behind. I'm trying to think of like what would be what about an ant?
Ants would be really. They're
If you
so
could-
strong.
If you could train an ant, I don't think you probably could. But if the ant was the size, because they can lift so much more than their strength. Although then you'd be afraid they'd just like destroy your house.
Yeah.
And like eat all your food. Like you'd come back and your whole kitchen would be destroyed, and they would have eaten all the sugar, and then probably like several of your relatives. And
Yeah.
you'd always be afraid that the queen would. Would you rather have a bee, a bumblebee, or a hummingbird? Like, let's say you could train a bumblebee.
Hummingbird. And the reason why
But they'd have to refeed all the time.
they do.
Bumblebees, well, I guess you'd have to start growing giant flowers.
Yeah.
Like giant flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's. I'm wondering also if any burrowing animals would be a better option.
Oh, dang it. Weasel.
Weasel.
Otter.
Otter would be good.
The river weasel. Or do we call it the water weasel? Wait, so this is harkening back to an episode. Did we decide to upgrade where I said that, ferrets or weasels are getting screwed because they're related to otters, but they get none of the love. Did we demote the otter to river weasel or water weasel or did we upgrade the land weasel to land otter?
Land otter is what we did.
So would you rather have a otter or a land otter?
I would rather have an otter because I think it'd be so cool to
Ride them
dive
underwater.
that deep and like roll around and whatnot.
It would be like the jet ski, though. It wouldn't be very practical.
Yeah, I do wonder like.
The rich people would own otters.
Yeah.
That they would go out to their beach house on the weekend and ride.
I do wonder though if like any like burrowing ones would be useful, or if there's any like
Like a mole.
yeah, like you're like that wouldn't be useful, but then you're like actually that might be super useful.
The problem is that somebody would like try and like if you could make any animal giant, like what would end up happening is it would just be like it is today, where somebody wants a pet snake, and then of course now we've got this monster snake on the loose, like living in the sewers, killing homeless people, and getting bigger and stronger until it finally erupts to the surface.
Yeah,
And then we're all being like hunted down and killed by giant snakes. It's not the ape uprising we fear now. It's the snake uprising.
yeah.
Which brings me to a new question as we wrap up this episode, Dafs, because I would like to do an episode on this. But real quick, your thoughts, bird uprising, worse or compared to ape uprising and robot uprising, where's the bird uprising? Like if you had to rank them.
I would say bird uprising would be the easiest by far.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Because even though birds are everywhere, they're very destructible. It's not hard to kill birds.
Yeah, but they're not focused. If they were all focused against us, like
No,
uprising.
I get that. I mean, like physically, like they have very brittle bones.
Oh.
And like ceiling fans
That's-
can do them in. So
That's true.
You'd really only have to like strap 3 ceiling fans to yourself when you go for walks.
But I'm guessing the number of apes to the number of birds, like I'm guessing it's like,
Oh yeah, way more birds. Than apes.
infinitely more birds.
Yeah, 100%.
What if a bunch of birds swarm the president and kill him? Like, and then they kill the queen. Like, it only takes a couple pointed strikes, and they're everywhere. Like, if they were coordinated enough, I think it just depends on how quickly they, like, you know what I'm saying? If they organized and they just kept bided their time, and then all of a sudden they just, like, knocked out, like, 4 of our world leaders.
And how long would it take you for a flock of pigeons to kill you?
Probably pretty fast. I mean, if they really swarmed you.
I mean,
it would be a terrible way to die, but...
Yeah, but like 10 seconds? I don't think you could bleed out from that.
No, but I
Minute?
think I think like a minute.
I feel like someone would help you in a minute.
But not if they're being swarmed. What if the Secret Service is all swarmed by and like killed by
Yeah, that's true.
by 1,000 birds descend on the White House?
People would no longer carry handguns. They'd carry like shotguns with just like tons of like birds shot in it.
Right? Yeah, you see the Secret Service. The guy is he's like, there's only one guy with a sniper rifle, but the rest of them don't carry handguns anymore. They've all got shotguns.
Yeah.
For buckshot for maximum spread.
Yeah.
But you're right, they would be a lot easier to kill. Like, it would take a lot more bullets to bring down a full-grown ape, because he'd probably take a lot of shots.
Oh, for
and
sure.
He'd still keep coming. And
For sure.
he'd just beat the president to death,
Yeah.
and it would take like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That's true. I think you're right. Originally, I was thinking if they just swarmed us like really fast, they could probably sow a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they would probably do as well as the apes.
So
Definitely not as good as the robots.
So tying multiple things in together, all of you deserve to be happy. So I recommend you go Google weasel riding woodpecker. It has in both the land otter we talked about and birds. And it's a real picture of a weasel that jumped on a woodpecker, which freaked out. A photographer caught it on film. And it's incredible.
So to summarize this episode, Dafs, lightsabers probably wouldn't be good for us as people. That's crazy.
It's
and
crazy.
funny and cute. This is the second episode in a row you've shown me a picture or a video.
Yep.
Summarize. Lightsabers, probably not the best thing.
No, the downfall of humanity.
Down, just like most other things. Do we have a decision on the best animal?
I gotta go with squirrel or dog. I think your dog idea was awesome. I think my squirrel idea is still probably the most useful.
It's out of
in the city,
In the city, yeah.
climbing up and down
I'm going to
buildings.
stick with, if I had to choose, if I could only have one, goose.
Yeah,
Canadian goose, and I could imprint on it.
flying is just so convenient.
It's so dang convenient. You could visit your family like that. No more travel through TSA.
Yeah,
It would be wonderful. We could start giving people lifts. Mm-hmm. It'd be great. And then, of course, happy International Women's Day.
absolutely.
And lastly, you can find us on Spotify,
Also on Podbean.
YouTube,
Yep.
iTunes,
Yeah.
Stitcher.
Stitcher. That's where I listen to us.
Yeah. I listen on Google Play Music. That's what I've transitioned over
And
to.
you should be able to, hopefully soon, listen to us on your smart speaker, whether on your Google Home or your Alexa.
Is that so? How's that?
Once we're on Amazon Music, which I'm going to be working on real soon.
That was your New Year's resolution.
Yep. You just should be listening to us. So,
Whoa, that's quite amazing. Well, this has been a very interesting and informative episode, I'm sure. A lot of people have loved it, and we're actually ending the episode together. You didn't leave.
I didn't storm out this time.
You didn't storm out, so that was a good sign. So for both of us, I'm Rick.
I'm Dafs.
Have a good one.